protection level. Now, resulting in the city of Deer Park asking residents to shelter in place this morning, 6 independent school districts and San Jacinto College canceled classes for tomorrow. And hundreds in the Houston area are complaining of a number of symptoms since the hazardous chemicals have been released into the air. Joining us here on The Factor Uncensored to discuss this is the Tox Doc's Dr. Noreen Khan Mayberry. We're glad to have you here on The Factor Uncensored. Is the coast clear? Can we, with complete confidence, say if you have a respiratory problem, it's safe to go outside now?
I could not make that statement safely, especially like in the evenings. Like right now, we know the air quality gets worse in the evenings. The benzene alert went off in the middle of the night. And so there's obviously some source that's still there that is actually, getting out into the air, evaporating from the ITC site, which is causing these elevated readings. So I can't say for sure that they've gotten everything contained and everything's been removed. We don't have any evidence to prove that.
And everything is always changing. In the situation when we thought the fire was extinguished or put out, then it flared back up, and then he said there was nothing in the air that could really do any harm, and then benzene pops up.
Well, and then the symptoms also, bear out that there is something in the air, because the low levels of benzene, they will lead to the irritation, the throat irritation, the nasal irritation, asthma attacks, having wheezing, coughing. I've had immunologists and allergists say, hey, Tox Doc, how do I limit their exposure? What do I do? I've got patients that are presenting that have never had any kind of respiratory issues. And all of it relates to the fact that they are being exposed to some level of benzene. So the situation, again, it's still dynamic. It's still ongoing. I wish I could say it's completely over, but clearly when you're having to shelter in place, hours after the fire is supposedly extinguished, there's a source there that needs to be removed. It needs to be corrected or remediated.
What would be your best advice for someone who may have respiratory problems, possibly severe, possibly minor, and this was recently in the air today? Would you tell them to just go stay with family members, kind of leave the area? What?
If they can leave the area, I would absolutely say leave the area, because if you have a respiratory issue, you are already in a sensitive population, and now you're adding a known respiratory irritant at low levels, also a known carcinogen at much higher levels. But again, right now we're really concerned about not, irritating or exacerbating what's going on with them right now. So if they can leave, I would absolutely leave. If it was me, I would leave.
Now, those little dollar masks from CVS and Walgreens, they won't do much, will they?
No, they capture physical particles. So particulate matter, they've been saying that's good. Well, that's fine, but we're not looking at particulate matter right now. We're looking at chemicals. They go straight through there, so that's not going to help at all.
All right. Thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. Still to come on The Factor, there's a huge push to get